Folks, during the Eastern Han Dynasty, there was a scholar named Wang Lai. When passing by a melon field and under a plum tree, he deliberately did two unusual things, and because of these two actions, he not only avoided being misunderstood but also became a role model for everyone to learn from. When he reached the edge of the melon field, Wang Lai stopped and bent down to tidy the hem of his long robe. Guess why? Because his robe was brushing against the weeds in the melon field, and he was afraid the melon farmer would mistake him for trying to steal melons. So he deliberately tidied his clothes and stood far away from the melon field. The melon farmer came over and asked why he was tidying his clothes. Wang Lai replied, "Your melons are growing well. I was afraid my clothes would touch the melon vines and make you think I was trying to steal melons." Upon hearing this, the melon farmer laughed and said, "Sir, you're overthinking it. How could I casually misunderstand someone?" When he walked under the plum tree, some plum blossoms fell on Wang Lai's shoulder. He was about to reach out to brush them off, but suddenly pulled his hand back and even took 2 steps backward. Why did he do that? It turned out he was afraid that if others saw him reaching out, they would mistake him for trying to pick plums. A passerby passed by and said, "If you want to pick plums, just pick them, no one will stop you." But Wang Lai said, "I don't want to pick plums. I'm just afraid that when I reach out to brush off the blossoms, others will see it and misunderstand me as trying to steal plums." Hearing this, the passerby admired him and said, "Sir, you're so thoughtful you even consider what others might think." Later, the melon farmer talked about this incident with the owner of the plum tree, saying that Wang Lai knew how to avoid suspicion, meaning he was aware of situations that could easily lead to misunderstandings, and took precautions in advance to prevent others from having reason to guess unnecessarily. Soon, everyone in the village heard about Wang Lai's story. Villagers brought Wang Lai hot water and said everyone was praising his integrity. Wang Lai smiled and said, "A person should act openly and uprightly, and not let others gossip behind their back. When passing by melon fields or under plum trees, you should be more careful to avoid misunderstandings. This is what one should do." Early the next morning, some children followed Wang Lai and even imitated his actions. When passing the melon field, they tied the corners of their clothes. When passing the plum tree, they stepped back. Wang Lai smiled and said, "You're doing the right thing. Knowing how to avoid suspicion from a young age means you'll definitely grow up to be upright people." Villagers from a neighboring village saw the children's actions and asked curiously. The children said, "Mr. Wang Lai told us that this way, Grandpa Melon Farmer one team misunderstand us for stealing melons." When the neighboring villagers heard this, they said, "This gentleman teaches well, we should learn from this too." Later, the villagers sat around to listen to Wang Lai speak. Wang Lai said, "When passing a melon field, don't bend down to adjust your shoes, others will think you're stealing melons. When passing under a plum tree, don't reach up to adjust your hat, others will think you're stealing plums. All actions that easily cause misunderstandings should be avoided." The son of the plum tree owner had his hat blown onto a plum branch. He was about to reach up to get it, but his father stopped him, saying, "Don't reach out. Others will misunderstand you for picking plums." After speaking, he used a bamboo pole to knock the hat down. This was learning to avoid suspicion. A villager from the neighboring village passed by the melon field, and his shoelace came loose. He was about to bend down to tie it, but then remembered Wang Lai's words. He walked to the side of the road far from the melon field before tying it. The melon farmer saw this from the field ridge and nodded with a smile, saying, "This person knows how to avoid suspicion. He is an honest man." Later, at the market, a customer wanted to pick up a pear from a vendor to have a look. He first asked, "Boss, can I pick one up to take a look?" The vendor smiled and said, "By asking first, I know you understand the rules and aren't trying to steal pears." This was also avoiding suspicion, explaining in advance to prevent misunderstandings. A villager asked Wang Lai, "Why do we need to avoid suspicion when passing melon fields and under plum trees?" Wang Lai replied, "A person should act with integrity and uprightness, and not give others a reason to gossip. Only then can everyone trust each other. If trust is lost, life will become difficult." Later, it became an idiom. It refers to situations that are likely to arouse misunderstanding, reminding people to be careful to avoid suspicion and prevent others from gossiping behind their backs.